Hi guys, this is Audio Heads, part of Geeks Assembled, and today we're discussing the Hammer Chillers. And it was we were discussing the what is it called? The Spanish Ladies, and what's the other one called?
The Devil in the Darkness.
Devil in the Darkness. Yeah, and so what should we do, fellas? Should we split them up, or should we do them all both of one?
Might as well just do them in one.
Okay.
The other, yeah.
All right. Sounds good. So welcome back, Beef Dad. So glad to see you, Jeffrey. You're awesome. And would you like to? Are you warmed up enough? Would you like to open up the discussion on these?
Well, you might
I think that you probably had a fairly strong opinion.
Well, to be honest, I found them very disappointing.
Really?
They weren't I didn't find them particularly scary. And The Devil in the Darkness, Lauren Gallagher, she wasn't too bad. Dylan Charles playing Andre was a bit difficult to understand a lot of the time, I found, and I don't usually have any problems understanding people who have accents, but the diction was not good. Well, yeah, they're stuck in a lift, but not wildly interesting. No, I didn't find it particularly scary, which rather upset me because, I mean, I used to love Hammer films, and Hammer audio does not seem to be working very well for me. Spanish Ladies, written by Paul Magras, and I would have expected a lot better, but again, I found it very, very disappointing. I couldn't get really involved in it. You know, that's the thing about it. But when they did the others that we've done, I found them very. You got very involved in them. But in these, the involvement was minimal for me. Jacqueline King, and yeah, she was an old bag, nasty old bag, but not particularly, Camille Corduri playing Renee was, well, she was stuck with it. And Ewan Bailey doing Phil, this mummy's son. You've got a totally me and an older son, and it just didn't work very well for me. And that's it. That's me.
All right, and let's go to Texas Tim. What'd you think of these two stories in the Hammer Chillers? Tim? He seems to be frozen. Lee, please, would you get...
Yeah. Well, I disagree. I enjoyed this. There's two different types of stories. Devil in the Darkness, the claustrophobic of being stuck in a lift for nearly a week, and it's just a two-hander. Was quite. I agree with the comment about the Dylan Charles with the accent. sometimes it was a bit forced. But Spanish Ladies by Paul Mars, yeah, this was more horror in the way it ended up. Jacqueline King is the powering mother, and Camille is the unlucky girlfriend. Yeah, out of the two, Spanish Ladies was my favourite out of these two, but I liked them both. For me, the performances I thought were okay. Jacqueline King just stole the show on that one. I mean, the story about the Spanish Ladies, how many people, back in the day, did have the Spanish Ladies on their toilet rolls? But I mean, it's just showing you how crazy this character was, talking to them and stuff like that. Said it is, yeah, that's my favourite story out of the two. Devil in the Darkness, I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't like elevators at all, really. I don't like getting in them most of the time. And a story like that was by Christopher Fowler. It just showed you how she soon unravelled, within a space of how many days. But it was all down to his doing. This was all a mental one. It was quite good. I enjoyed it. I mean, the other stories in the box set are good as well. But these are the two what was just picked. Yeah, I enjoyed both of them. It was good to listen to these two again. Over to you, Susan.
All right, and Tim, can you give us your impression of these two stories, please?
I thought they were good. I think with a 30-minute running time, it's kind of like doing an episode of The Twilight Zone or something. You have only 30 minutes to set up a plot and have it all take place and have your twist, and then your denouement moment. And then I think they did a pretty good job. I noticed I first listened to these about 2 or 3 years ago when they first came out, and I noticed they don't wear as well on the second listen when you kind of know what's going to happen. Like especially the elevator story. It was good, but I think I enjoyed it the first time when I kind of knew what was going to happen. It kind of took away the shine a little bit. But I enjoyed the second story more, the Spanish Ladies one. It was like the Battle of the Doctor Who moms, kind of in a way, and it was more entertaining and more like I don't know. It was very Paul Mars, I guess. I didn't realize he had written that one, but now I can tell. Yeah, so. Yeah, I thought they were pretty enjoyable for what they are. 30-minute. They're not really horror stories, right? I guess chiller is a good name for it because it's kind of like, like the elevator one was strange. I think it kind of got into psychological horror kind of thing, because that if you empathize with the lady, she's obviously starting to hallucinate and go through all kinds of problems. He actually the protagonist actually describes like what happens to your blood when you don't have water or food and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But overall, I'd say they were pretty entertaining listens for 30 minutes.
And since I really only listened to it once, I was captivated. I saw the love story in the first one as I mean, it was painful because you knew that this wasn't going to end the way you thought it would, but what happened was just like a horrible thing. I thought that what was outside was going to get in, and I didn't know that what was inside was worse than what was outside, and so yeah, that was really intense. And then Spanish Ladies was the story of basically a failure to launch with dismemberment. There's a little reference in a movie called FX where this guy is talking about horror effects that he's done, and the police officer is a fan, and he says, "Oh, I loved your movie. I Dismember Mama," and like that's approximately this sort of thing that happened, and so yeah, not too long, not not full of total dread. I mean, you know, eerie. Yeah, a little chilling, but yeah. So, favorite moments or shit you want to change? Well, fellas, what do you think? Let's go back around to Beef Dad. What would you think?
I always say the performance by Jacqueline King in Spanish Ladies was very good. She did that really well. She was really unpleasant. But as I say, I don't find these as scary as I would have hoped from The Devil in the Darkness. Yeah, Lauren Gallagher, she worked very hard on what she did, but I think the writing by Christopher Fowler could have improved. I think it is a bit sad that he didn't write well enough for this. Similarly, Paul Magras, he's usually very, very good. I don't know why this one just did not convince me. I found myself, my attention to it would just switch off at points. So, but as I say, yeah, there were a couple of good performances, but I think the writing could have been better, because the one thing that I say, you know, usually with Bafflegab Productions, you get involved. The whole thing pulls you in, but these didn't. To me, they didn't do that to me. I was not pulled in at all. There was one bit that got a bit interesting in the Devil, but yeah, Devil in the Darkness. There was one bit that sort of mentioned, when you suddenly started getting the sounds and the water. They didn't have any water, and the water started thawing up above the lift, and it was dropping down the lift shaft and onto the lift and into the lift. And he decided to stand on her to get to the water, and that, I thought to myself, well, yeah, this is basically a psychological thing, rather than a horror story. So yeah, I was expecting. I mean, if they're going to have the name Hammer, I think it was Hammer was House of Horror. And to be perfectly honest, I didn't find these horror. They were tended to be mostly psychological based. That's it.
All right, and Texas Tim, how about you? Favorite stuff you change?
Well, I guess if I had a problem with the first story is the motivations of the guy, unless he's supposed to be the devil himself, because what he did was kind of cruel and unusual, and I'm not sure how he actually got away with it, because unless she was hallucinating, because there were several times where they were hearing things that must have been noises from the building, but it sounded like people talking and things too. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe it just didn't. Maybe like Jeffrey says, maybe the writing wasn't that straight on this one, but it wasn't bad overall. I think the whole thing is that it's leading you down a passage to where, you know, there's a twist at the end where he was behind the whole thing, which you didn't know that till like the last minute. And you just have to, like, what's his motivation for doing that? Unless it's implied he's the devil himself, and this is the kind of thing the devil does. Maybe that was the point, the devil in the darkness, but I don't know. But yeah, that's why I think the second story was a little tighter and was a lot more fun, actually, because it's, you know, the revenge, because this woman's awful. She's an awful woman, and she treats her friend badly, and she treats her son badly, and she suddenly just kills her friend for no reason because she suspects her of going around with her son, and she's just not going to have that. And so her son gets the sweetest revenge on her by kissing her ass, and then, you know, leading her into a trap and doing the same thing to her that she does to her awful doll. So I think that was a little bit more satisfying as a story. But overall, they're not bad.
And Lee, how about you?
Well, what you've got to remember is, yeah, Hammer is associated with horror. Yeah, we all know Hammer House of Horror, but Hammer also did Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense. So you have them sort of stories as well. Yeah, they're not horror yet, but it doesn't say horror on the box. It says chillers. So you're expecting a chilling tale. It's a chilling tale. It's like Tales from the Crypt, Tales of the Unexpected. It's that sort of storylines. So that's what I expected when I got this set, and I wasn't disappointed. Stories. Yeah, Devil in the Darkness could have been explained a little bit more, because it does make you wonder why did he do this? As Tim said, what was his motivation? Is he the devil? It's just left sort of open ended. Do you have to make your own, you know, assumptions of what this was about? But I thought it was well played out. You know, just taking one setting and just putting two people there. You know, really well played out. Spanish Ladies, as I said, is my favourite of the two. Yes, a bit more gory by the end of that tale. More gore, and I'm happy. And that also as well, it makes you wonder, what's he going to do now? Is she going to be a life-size Spanish lady in the house? We don't know, do we? Have we got a toilet roll big enough? Yeah, I wouldn't change anything really. To be honest, I'm quite happy with how the tales panned out. But it said just the first story needed a bit more explaining by the end of it, because you don't know who that character was really. You don't know who Andre was. Was he Satan? We don't know. Or did he just get his kicks by doing that every week? We just don't know. But yeah, I enjoyed them.
I thought excuse me, I thought he was an opportunistic guy. The first one, he was like, found this woman that he was super attracted to, and you know, instead of brutalizing her, he basically killed her in her best form and made her fall in love with him through the psychological stuff. I mean, that's kind of a thing, I suppose, is that, you know, it's always hard to find, you know, somebody to, but instead of, you know, raping her, he made her fall in love with him and then killed her. I mean, this craziness comes in so many forms. And the other one is, I mean, the back and forth was amazing. And enjoyed the back and forth, the interplay between, well, Camille's character and the guy. I thought that was really quite amazing, and I'm always looking for the romance, guys. To be perfectly, frank with you, that's really what I'm always looking for. I don't know what it is, but that was those are the things. Anyway, so enjoyed it, and like to open up the discussion. Anybody have anything uh you'd like to say about anything more you'd like to say about this particular box set, please?
Well, I think like any short story is designed to just like kind of get in and get out and tell its story quickly and leave you with a bit of a shock or whatever to go, oh, I didn't see that coming kind of thing. That's how these kind of stories are, I believe. So I think they did their job pretty effectively.
Well, I will say that I was disappointed in this because if you look at the publicity on here, it says best listened to during daylight, and just to negate what Lee said there, the resurrection of the Hammer brand continues apace, a worthy successor to Hammer House of Horror. And Hammer Chiller certainly hit the mark, a modern classic of audio horrors. I'm afraid I don't agree with that. I do not agree that they have gone horror. These were audio psychological story.
All right, you tell them, Beef Dad.
Yeah. Well,
All right. Anything else? Let's rate them. Unless Lee got something else?
No, I'm just saying I wouldn't disagree with Starbase Magazine or SFX. So.
All right, cool.
They know what they're talking about most of the time.
All right. So Starburst, the like Starlog and
Starbase Magazine, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I learned something new about the whole genre thing. I'm gonna start looking for those mags, those rag mags. No, I'm just kidding. I don't even know if they're rag mags. I just was stealing that from the young ones and Absolutely Fabulous and stuff like that. Anyway, so let's go around. Let's start with Lee. What's your final say and score?
Well, I enjoy it. I enjoy it if it's a chiller, horror, psychological. For me, it all goes into one sort of bag for me. I don't mind what it the end product is. I will give Devil in the Darkness was the weak one of the two. So for that reason, 7.5 for Devil in the Darkness. I agree the rating maybe would have been a bit off there. Spanish Ladies, I enjoyed this one. That's getting a 9.
Cool. Texas, how about you?
I was going to say, this also reminds me of Fear on 4, which is another radio series that did 30-minute dramas that were hosted by Edward D'Souza. Those are the same kind of vein, which were also pretty effective, I think. So I would recommend those. But as far as rating goes, I'd give the first story an 8. I thought it was fine. And I'd give the second one a 9 just because it was more of a black comedy kind of thing. So, I mean, overall, I'd say they were pretty good listening.
All right. And Beef Dad, and by the way, I'm really, really glad you're back. It is great to have your voice and your face in front of me again. Just FYI. Okay, so please, your final say and score.
Well, on the Devil in Darkness gets a 6 from me because there are so many things that could have been improved on that, and Um, ladies, yeah, I'll give that a 7 because yeah, there was a couple of good performances in it and a couple of fun moments. That's it.
All right. And I will give The Devil in the Darkness, I'll give that a 7.5. That wasn't too bad. And I'll give the Spanish Ladies a 7.75. Because, I mean, they were pretty much the same, in the same vein, in the same genre. And I enjoyed it. And I thought that I'm glad I listened to it in the dark, you know, pre-dawn and stuff like that. I'm glad I didn't have all the promotional materials with it. So I wasn't swayed either way, and I wasn't instructed apparently how to listen to this thing. And I will be seeing you in a fortnight. Please do like, subscribe, share this widely, and join Beef Dad's fan club page, fan club group on Facebook, because he's back and better than ever. And like and subscribe to, and join us in our social media, Geeks Assembled social media, and Lee's Instagram is cool. And yeah, so thank you, and don't be afraid of the devil in the dark.